as we need to.
So we don't have to rush it, but we also understand you guys are busy, and so let's get into this stuff. We had a post, Jenny, you posted in there about what's one thing that you would love to essentially bolt down. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Something like that. Yep.
And there's a crazy amount of comments on this. Let me go to it real quick. Let's see. Oh no, that's got 20 comments. It was the welcome post you were mentioning.
Even that
But
one is good feedback.
yeah, it's just fun to see what you guys are saying. A lot of you need accounting help, or so you love to bolt down accounting. Let's see, what are some of the ones that you saw?
It looked like there was a lot of you guys had said if you could bolt one thing down, it would be
Mm-hmm.
social media.
Mm-hmm.
Accounting was like, I think unless you're an accountant, that's probably something you want to outsource and bolt
Totally.
down. So that's totally understandable. And then the prep work, like a prep center or shipping, distribution, that type of
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of that piece. That's a
Yeah.
huge. It's so much easier than it used to be. I will just tell you, from 15 years ago, when I was fulfilling all my orders myself, that was a nightmare. And it's so much easier, but it's still, we'll talk about it. It's still something that is not a bad thing to consider.
Yeah.
Bolting down. What does the
Absolutely.
bolting down mean, Ryan?
You know what? I don't know. It's something we heard Brett Bartlett say at CES in Nashville a few years ago. Bolt, don't bounce. And it's the idea that with internet business, or just I guess any business, it's so easy to see all these new shiny objects that come around. Oh, look at this person, they came out with this course and they're killing it with garage sales. And and then Jenny comes in and talks about Kindle Direct Publishing or bundling, or when you had the holiday toy guide, there's all these amazing opportunities, and you're like, oh, I want to do this and do this and do this and do this, and you're like a squirrel, or actually you're saying that's what, hey, look, squirrel over here,
like a squirrel.
and you never get anything done. And it's so easy to fall in that trap of not being focused. And so that the point is that get something going, bolt it down, get it outsourced, get it going, put systems and processes in place so that then you can move on to something else. It doesn't, instead of saying, okay, I've been doing Amazon, for example, and I love doing RA, retail arbitrage, and that's working well for me. Instead of saying, I'm just going to forget that and let that income completely go away and move to something else, it's essentially ratcheting that down into your business in such a way that it becomes something that you can kind of oversee from a higher level and not be so down in the nitty gritty of it. And this works for any business, no matter what you're doing. Let's say that you have a craft business and you sell on Etsy, and that's working really well for you, but you want to do something else, or something else is in your heart. It's so easy. It's actually kind of hard to move away from that because that's what's working. So you have to get yourself out of it without neglecting it completely and letting that income stream die. Right. So how do you do that? That's what we're going to talk about today. Which is key. And then you have several things that you've got bolted down, and then you can then become the chairman of all of it, the CEO of none of it. You have all these people working with you that you've either partnered up with, or you have a team of VAs that kind of help run your business. And then you're free to look for new opportunities because things are happening in your business, and you can focus on what only you can do. So.
Yeah. Or what only you want to do, not just what you can do, because you can probably do all of it. Well, maybe not the accounting. I don't know. But yeah. And you know what, guys, I think you can all relate to this, because as an entrepreneur, we are opportunity spotters. And what's really hard is when there's a lot of low hanging fruit and you're going, oh, there's some, and you don't want to miss these, it's not just shiny object. It's like, but no, this is really going to be profitable. It's so easy. I'd be stupid to not take this, and jump over here. But looking at the bigger picture, Mary said, she thought bolting down was she said, okay, I thought bolt down was get profitable. And that's a good comment. I responded and said, it's actually kind of is, right? Because you are making yourself more profitable by being more efficient in your business.
Right.
And that's that you're creating processes in place so that you can be more profitable. So
Yep. So you're either here, you're an e-commerce seller, because that's a lot of folks that are in our audience. But maybe that, or you have a craft business. There's a lot of folks from Nancy Alexander's group in here, which we're grateful for. Thank you, Nancy. We love you. Thanks for all that you've done for us, and you're a blessing. But there's also folks that maybe just bolting down means that they're working a full-time job and they're trying to start a new side hustle, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to find that time because you're busy. You work 8 or 10 hours a day. You fight traffic. You come home, you're exhausted. Yeah. How do you work a business into that schedule? So we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's dig into this. All right, so bolting down your business. There's a picture of a beautiful bolt there.
Is that what that is?
I guess so. I don't
might
usually,
not have known.
It's not something I usually mess with. I call a handyman.
If you find one of those, then you're in trouble. If it's like underneath, James found something like that. I don't know if it was a bolt underneath our Suburban one day when I pulled out. Uh-oh.
Yeah, where'd that come from? But this is so I know where my strengths are, and it's not with handyman stuff. So essentially, guys, we must create time. Time is our most valuable asset. It's what you're going to do to get these things done. And there's several ways to do this. So let's create time. I'll show you how to.
That's kind of why we're bolting down, so that we can create time, right? And then we can focus on the things that we either need to or want to focus.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you guys want to be working in your sweet spot. Jenny wrote a book called Sweet Spot Revenue. And it's essentially, what are the things that you love to do? What are you passionate about? It's possible to make money from something you're passionate about. And I know, Jenny, we talked about this before we got on, that some people start because they need to make extra money. And so you find the quickest and easiest thing. Maybe that's sourcing from garage sales or thrift stores.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, guys. That's a wonderful thing to do. Jenny, you started with strollers at garage sales, selling them on eBay. But you didn't do that because, you just love selling strollers. No, you were trying to feed your family, and you found that as an opportunity. And then you moved on from there. And now you're pretty much only doing things that you want to do, and it's things that you're good at.
Right.
But you didn't start there.
No.
And so, guys, it's possible to be making money from something that you love to do. And this is kind of what we want to show you how to do. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's fun when you wake up on Monday morning and you don't dread it, when you're looking forward to the week. And, sometimes I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of dread the weekends, because it means that, Jenny and I aren't doing webinars, and we're not getting on and doing the fun stuff that we get to do. Now, I love spending the weekends with my family too, but I enjoy what I do. I enjoy the work that I do. And it's, I want you to have that same opportunity, and you guys can. So that's what we want to get into this week.
Yeah. Ryan, I'm going to back us up just a little bit, because I realize usually we're talking to people who have been following us. It's our audience and our people. And now everybody in this group, you guys are all our people now, but we don't know you, not all of you. And some of you might not know us. So maybe we can take just a minute to introduce ourselves. You want to go? You kind of introduced me a little bit and gave some background, but maybe you can.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I started selling online in 2008, moved from Indiana. I live in Texas now. I've been here 11 years, started selling furniture on Craigslist. I've always been interested in entrepreneurship. And then I followed Jim Cockrum since about 03 or 04, read his book, Silent Sales Machine, that gave me the entrepreneurial bug. And then when 08 came around, I was working for a congressional office. I was a campaign manager for a congressional campaign. We lost that race. So I moved to Texas, had no idea what I was going to do. Started selling furniture, moved to Amazon and eBay. In 2013, I wrote my first book. It's called Real Wholesale Sources. And from there, I haven't looked back as far as the information is concerned, because I found what I love to do. And that's teaching people how to create streams of income. I wrote a book called Streams of Income earlier this year. I have a radio show here in the Dallas area. I'm on an AM station and FM station. Also have a podcast. My passion is helping people create multiple streams, helping people live their dreams, and using the internet in a way to make money. So, and I've partnered, Jenny and I have been partners since 2015. I wrote a book called Private Label the Easy Way. She helped me take that book and turn it into a course with a mentoring community. We have about 2,300 people in that group where we teach how to create their own brand of products on Amazon. But our passion is this, helping people find their sweet spot and create revenue from it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Very good. I'll just share a little bit, but Ryan kind of said, I started, 16 years ago. I had a newborn and a 3-year-old. He just turned 3 and did not want to go back to work. We needed some extra money. And so I thought I'll supplement by selling on eBay and kind of stumbled into that and burned out really quickly. There was no cell phones. There were cell phones. It wasn't that long ago, but there were cell phones. There was no smartphones. You couldn't take a picture there. You couldn't, so it just was a lot to do with 2 little kids underfoot. So I was trying to do, anyway, so I learned how stumbled also on Jim Cockrum. That's kind of our common thread. How we met was through his community. But I was like, there's got to be something more that I can do with what I know. And so that's how I found Jim and read the first version of his book, The Silent Sales Machine, and just could not put my ideas to rest. It was like all of a sudden I knew there was so much opportunity and I was trying to figure out what my thing was. So I started helping other young moms do what I was doing. I knew you could be successful with it. I had been successful with selling online. I just I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to do something else. So but I didn't want to. I wanted to share that with other people. So I partnered with a couple women in a mastermind group and came up with a membership group site that I did, a newsletter, paid newsletter, really, sharing how I did what I did and helping other women get started and grow their businesses. This was 15 years ago. Overnight, I had 500 people subscribe. And from there, I've learned so much about the value of community, about listening to your community, your people, your audience, and learning how to serve them better. And I think, my business has shifted and pivoted in so many ways over the last 15 or 16 years. I've had the flexibility to be able to do that. And that's kind of what my book is about. Sweet Spot Revenue. It came out in September. And it's just my story and the lessons learned along the way. And what I've learned is that you kind of find your sweet spot in the process. You got to be moving. You can't just go, okay, my sweet spot, I'm going to get there. When my life lines up, that's going to be my sweet spot. You kind of find it along the way. And the only way to do that is to really be moving and stepping into something. And so Ryan and I, we've been working together. Gosh, it has been almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in the spring. Seems like longer in a way, but we just have come to love his family and have done multiple projects together. But we really do. This is where our hearts are. We want to equip other people and empower other people to be able to bolt down what they're doing so that they can build out multiple revenue streams so that you don't have all your eggs in one basket, right? And bolt each of those down so that you can focus on what you feel called to do or what you're passionate about and have an impact on the world. That's what we want to do. We feel like we believe we have the skills and the experience and are very confident to be able to step in with you and journey with each of you guys to be able to get you to a place where you can do what you feel like you need to be doing in this world. And we want to be, we want to provide tools and resources to help you get there. So that's a little bit of who we are and why we're here this week. Super excited to dig in with you guys. We have a lot of really good stuff planned. So anyway, just thought, you know what, we should back up a little bit.
Oh, that's good. I thank you for doing that. We just assume, know who we are, but especially if you're from Nancy's group, you may not know us. Mary says, you find your sweet spot in the process, quote. Great tip. Keep moving. That's right. That's really, really good. That's a meme for you this week, Jenny, to post on social media.
Yep.
I also say it's like this. It's God can't direct a parked car. You gotta move, and then he'll tell you where to go. So good stuff. Okay, let's go back to these slides here. All right, so we must create time, and there's a couple options. You can buy it, or you can be more efficient. Okay, and there might be more. There might be 5 ways. There might be 50 ways. I don't know, but these are the main ones that we want to talk about that we feel will be most helpful for you guys to be able to take action right away. Okay, so buy it one way, and there might be a lot of ways, but for a lot of you, most of you, buy it's going to look like this. It's going to be outsourcing. And I know you all know this. You've all heard it. You just got to do it. At what point are you going to say, okay, that's it. I'm no longer, as Jim Cockrum says, I'm no longer going to touch box tape, or those areas of your business that you just don't want to do anymore. Maybe there are even things that you enjoy doing, but it's just not the best use of your time. One thing you can do is make a huge list of every single thing you do in a day on your business or over a week. Seriously, this is a great thing to do, is to put a list of all the tasks, every single little thing. Is that's posting on social media, responding to emails, packing and shipping, sending out products. If you're in the craft business, actually making the products, creating listings. If you're a coach, maybe that is, talking to prospects or sending out emails to prospects. For me, it would be, I do a radio show. And so I have to find people to interview and schedule those interviews. Every single little task, write them down. Okay. And then go through those. Which of those things are ones that you don't need to be doing, that you don't even like to do? What are those things that you, and actually I probably could post what Dan Miller talks a lot about. It's this genius zone, and there's like 3 different zones. One is like the zone of incompetence, things you're not even good at that you continue to do. Things that for
like
me, that would be,
accounting.
what's that? Accounting?
Like accounting or like, yes. I keep doing my taxes every year. I don't know why.
Right. Let's stop the share. I love what you said. Like we should stop the share in between, because otherwise the slides aren't going to be moving. So yeah, accounting's a perfect one. Most people are not good at that. Be honest, unless you are an accountant or Tim, you're on the call here. Tim, you could probably do your own taxes. You probably do. And that's fine because you have the training. Jenny and I have no business doing our own taxes. And we, up until not too long ago, we were doing them. And so just get that out. Don't do that at all. What are the things that you can do, but you shouldn't be doing? Maybe that's, any task that you are able to do, competent to do, but it's just, like maybe like packing and shipping.
Yeah. I was going to say taping up a box, you know?
Exactly. Anybody can do that.
Works, but yeah.
But if it's something that you can pay somebody $10 an hour to do, that is not worth your time. Not that it's beneath you. It's just that in your business, you are worth more than that. You need to be the one that's looking for new ideas, making relationships, investing in yourself with new courses, new content, going to conferences. That's the best use of your time. Or if you're in an inventory business, you're finding new inventory or reaching out to potential VAs or partners, finding shoppers for your business. Those are the tasks that you should do. And then another thing is the zone of genius. What are the things in your, and I'll look and see if I can post this for you guys. I think it'll be helpful. What are the things that just there are things that only you can do. Like for me, it would be, I can't outsource doing a radio interview. I could have a guest, and if I was going to have a guest, Jenny would be the first person I would ask if I said, hey, I need to be gone for 3 weeks and can't record any interviews. But for the most part, that's something that only I can do. As far as my book streams of income, I can only write that. People do have ghostwriters, but this is something that I need. The writing, the big high level stuff are the things that you need to be focused on. And so where's your zone of genius? Those things that you're excited about doing that move your business forward, not these stupid little tasks that need to get done, but then the things that don't need to be done by you. And I'm still guilty of spending time on these things that need to happen, but don't need to happen by me.
Okay, you might say you're guilty, but I would say you're one person who does this the best in being able, I think you're very intentional. And that's really what this takes, is you need to be intentional. And Ryan, you're a really good example to me, what that looks like, to be intentional, to figure out what do I need to be focusing on and how can I outsource to other people. I love the comment you made about, it's not that it's beneath you. That really has nothing to do with it. You're not, it just because you're not willing to touch the box tape doesn't mean that you're being snooty or snotty or, anything about that. It's, if you want to grow your business, which benefits the people you're serving, okay, then you need to focus on the right things. And so that's the attitude and the perspective to look at this. It's not, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. Like that, anybody could do that. And it's not that kind of a thing. It's not that kind of an attitude, but really focusing on what you need to be the one thing or the two things or the three things. I love what you said though. And I think guys, you should have a notebook. And in fact, as you were talking, I thought we should make a book, a workbook, of, how just a journal for an outsourcing journal kind of a thing, where you just, sometimes you really need to just brainstorm. I have a hard time. This is a weakness for me. I'll just say straight out. And I love being able to be here with Ryan to talk about this. I've learned a lot along the way, but I struggle and I wrestle for various reasons. But being able to write things down and make those lists, that might sound like a waste of time, but it will make you more efficient in the long run. And
sure.
So
and Jenny, for you, that's usually things that you're really good at. Like, for example, creating images for a Facebook event. Like, you're really good with navigating Canva and these other image sites. And so you typically will do those on your own. And I still do a lot of it too. But those are things that probably take you 3 or 4 minutes, maybe. And so you think, you know what, it's just 3 or 4 minutes, I'll do that. But how many 3 or 4 minutes times the number of webinars that you and I do and that you do outside of our partnership with everybody else, add all that time up, guys. And I'm just using her as an example. What are those 2 to 3 minute tasks that you shouldn't be doing, somebody else can do as well, maybe better than you, maybe faster than you, and that you can then add up all those. Imagine how much time you would get back if you didn't have those tiny little 3-minute tasks eating away at your day.
Exactly. And here's the thing with that. Okay, so this is a great example, is because, and I'm willing to be the guinea pig here on this. It's the thing with me, I love doing that stuff. I have a background with some of that, when marketing and some graphic design stuff. I enjoy that. But a long time ago, I used to get caught up in logos and like having a logo for this and a logo for that. And I'm like done with that. I'm past that. I grew past that, in that, that wasn't a good use of my time. And I enjoy that creative process, but I enjoy more, and feel like it's not, how do I say this? It's not that I don't enjoy that. It is that I have a stronger desire to grow my business. And if I'm going to do that, I need to even put aside some of the things I really enjoy doing. And you said, somebody else might be able to do it better. Yes, somebody could totally do it better, but even somebody else might not do it as well as to my standard for me. And that's still okay to outsource to that. It doesn't have to be, sometimes things, they didn't get the tape straight on the box,
Right.
That's going to drive you nuts. Honestly, that's something to let go of. That is not something, it doesn't mean you need to be putting the tape on because you get it straight every time. And so, figuring that out. And I think it does look a little different for everyone, but
totally does.
It might be something you really enjoy doing that is not worth your time. Because if your goal is to grow your business so that you can have more time to spend with your family, or more time to do stuff in your community, or more time to impact the world around you. For me, this is a great example, and I'm getting a little convicted on it, but maybe it is to let go of some of the things that I enjoy doing for the larger enjoyment,
That's good. Yeah, you're essentially stealing time away from those things you really want to do when you're doing those little tasks that you should be outsourcing.
Yeah.
As we're all guilty of it. It's hard. It's so easy to be like, I can answer that email, or I can do this or that, when you should be outsourcing. So what are those? Write down those tasks. Your action items would be over this next week or two, whatever. Write down a list of those tasks that you do and start looking at them. Which are the ones I love doing that. I get really excited about that. And it's a thing that will move my business forward. Those are the things you want to keep doing and focus on.
Yeah.
Okay, so outsourcing. Okay, but before you can outsource, it's really hard to say, okay, VA or, whoever you're going to hire to help you out, here, do this, here, do my Amazon shipments. You have to train them. And in order to train them, you have to have some sort of systems and processes in place to hand over to them. So, that's as simple as, you could do a video, you could document what you do, even as simple like with your Canva events, you could document exactly how you do it when you do the next one. And then that's a video that you could send to a VA who has a graphic. You're probably not going to send that to a VA who has no idea what they're doing with graphic design. Right. It needs to be somebody with some type of experience. But they want to know how you do it. So do a quick video on like Snagit, or there's Jing, Jing. That's totally free. I think for 5-minute videos or less, and document in it could be in a video form. It could be in a PDF form, a Word document, whatever you need, of what your business looks like, what you do on every little task, the steps that you take to get that task done. You only have to do that one time, and you can just share that with your person that you end up working with.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share a little bit of a mistake that I've made along the way with this. I think, well, first of all, that's key. What you're saying right now, guys, this is key. Make sure if you're just starting out, the tasks that you're doing, document the process now so you don't have to go back and do it later. Okay. So pay attention to, okay, you know what? Right now I have to be doing my own prep and ship. And so or I have to be doing my graphics design stuff, or I have to be doing whatever it is you're doing, but I don't want to be doing, my goal is in 2 months, I want to have this outsourced. So while I'm doing it, I'm going to document the process so that I don't have to do that later. Okay. That's really important. So one of the things I did, I used to have a program called the Holiday Toy Guide for years, and it was a lot of research. It was before all the tools for eBay and Amazon and all that tell you how many sales and all the history. So I was doing a lot of that manually, and that was something I could outsource, right? Well, I did this a few times. I think I had 3 or 4 different people through the time that I did the Holiday Toy Guide working for me, doing this research for me. They did a great job. But because my name was attached to it, I found myself going over it again because I wanted to make sure it was done right. And then I was like, this is dumb. I'm paying them to do the work that I'm going to do anyway. It was really not the best thing. But what I realized more recently, I've been looking back at that, like, why didn't that work for me? Because that is the type of task to outsource. That totally is. I hate doing research. I hate doing that stuff. I'm not a data person. And so that made sense to do. But why was I I was attached to it. Okay. And I needed to be able to trust my VA to be able to do this for me. Okay. And that honestly takes time. So you need to trust who you're outsourcing this to, but you got to give it time. And the problem I had with the Holiday Toy Guide was it was seasonal. And so I didn't have the time to really build that rapport with them so that I did trust them. We only did it like for 6 weeks. And every week they were doing research. Well, by the time we got to 5 and 6, I might have been trusting them, but man, I spent a lot of time paying them and doing the work myself. It was just dumb. So think about as you're creating processes, that's really important, but you also want to think about the people that you need to build trust with who you're going to be handing these off to, and be able to let go. I don't know.
That is the hard part, especially for you guys that are perfectionists that wanted to have it done, have it be perfect. So if you're in this week,
well, your name is on it too. I mean, it's, like the crafters that are in here, your name is on if you're going to have somebody else helping you do the wreaths or helping you do whatever it is you're creating, you want it to be up to your standard.
Absolutely. Yep. I get that. Yep. But guys, don't let good done is better than perfect every time. So don't let if you wait till it's perfect, it'll never get done. My books aren't perfect. Nothing I've ever done, nothing Jenny and I have done together has been perfect.
Yeah.
We're keeping learning and revising, and that's the beauty of the internet. If you create a book, it's not like 30 years ago where you'd have to wait a whole year to do a revised version. If you self-publish, like on Kindle, KDP, Amazon's print-on-demand book platform, you can upload a new version as many times as you want. So nothing is set in stone there. Okay, so systems and process. Start thinking. So your homework would be get your tasks together. Write down a list of items that you do every day, every week, every month, whatever it is. Just things that any task that you do in your business. Write it down, and then start thinking how you can systematize it, how you can put that into a video, or how you would. If I had to come to your house and you had to teach me how to run your business, how would you do that? And so put some screen share videos together for you guys that are Amazon sellers, and maybe you use like software like Inventory Lab, for example. document that. Do a video, a screen share video where you're recording your screen and showing somebody how you enter in shipments and, all that stuff. Get that documented so then you can outsource that much easier. All right, be more efficient. There are so many ways to be more efficient. So, we're just bombarded with social media. And this is tough for Jenny and I because many of our groups, they run on social media. So one way that Jenny and I could be more efficient is stop spending so much time in our news feed. And this is not something I do a whole lot anyway, but if this hits you, there's a lot of people that just get so bogged down in Instagram and Facebook, looking at other people's lives, what they're doing, watching Instagram stories. Instead, if you're trying to build a business, take that, and that's not saying you have to completely shut it off, but be intentional about how much time you're going to sit there, because there's all these little snippets of time, especially if you're busy. Well, everybody's busy, of course, right? But especially, let's say you have a full-time job. You wake up early, you drive an hour to work, you spend 8 or 10 hours there, you drive an hour back, you get home, you have to eat dinner, spend time with the kids, and then you're exhausted. Well, I'm sure you checked out social media during a 10-minute period there, or after the kids go to bed. Instead of that time, just checking out the newsfeed, why don't you go into a community that has the audience you're trying to reach and serve them? So that's a way to proactively use social media to benefit your business. And so what would you do there? Well, you would go into, Jenny and I use examples of camping, for example. We always say camping. That's what we say in our private label group. So let's say that you love camping, tips on how to set up camp really fast or places to go camp that are really cool. And that's just your passion and you want to build a business around that subject. Well, find Facebook groups that deal with that subject. Who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? Where do they hang out online? Go into those groups and start serving, start answering questions, start looking and see where people are stuck. What are they asking questions about? Go in there and serve that community, get to know the admin, just be present, and opportunities will present itself. People are like, oh my gosh, who's this Jenny person that keeps coming in? That's a great tip. People will check you out. They'll gravitate over to your page. They'll friend you. They'll send you private messages. Hey, that was an awesome tip. Can I learn more about that? Or what were you talking about there? And you start building those relationships. That would be a way to capitalize on social media without wasting that time.
Yes. However, yes. No, you know what? I love the word be intentional. Like that's really what this whole bolting down thing is, guys. If you want to get serious about your business, you have to be intentional. It's just the way it is. So what can you do to be more intentional? That's what we're talking about here. But I love this going into other groups related to we'll talk more about this over the week, but jumping in there, but that in itself can also be a distraction. So sure. I actually, one of the things I wrote down about being more efficient is practicing time blocking. A while back, I was under this one guy who I love his stuff, Jimmy D. Brown. I don't know if he's even doing this anymore, but he coached me for a while. He was doing working 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. And so he was teaching how he did that. And so he took the 3 hours, and in the first hour, he would go through emails. The second hour, he would work on creating content, because that's what he was internet marketing. That's what he would do. So he would create content. And the third hour was about driving traffic, figuring out how to drive traffic. That's it. He did that 4 days a week, and he would set his timer and he'd be done after the hour. So social media is, it's a black hole.
It can be.
It can be. And
yeah,
so
totally
intentional about it.
Yeah.
Like I never look at stories on Instagram or even Facebook. That will like suck me in. And just yesterday, my youngest was like, why don't you ever look at the stories? I'm like, in fact, I'm like, I don't need to add something more to, so that's a boundary for me. I just can't go there. But there are groups, there's so much opportunity in groups, which we'll talk about later, but I've done this just in the last month. I joined a new group. There's 270 or 80,000 people.
Oh my gosh.
In this group. It's insane. And it's all people that are most of them are people who are my target audience. Okay. So I'm in there and I'm just answering questions left and right. There's so much opportunity to serve and answer questions. And the first day I did that, I was bombarded with email, with private messages in Facebook. I mean, like, I think I counted like 50 people were reaching out to me because they wanted to know more. And they started following me on Facebook. And,
yeah, and you didn't go in there and saying, hey, get my free book. It's over here. Or
right.
course.
No, not at all. It was just people are asking questions about how do I want to publish a book. Has anybody done that before? And I'm like, well, yeah, kind of, or it just was, I was just helping, and I would give information, valuable. This is what I do. I use KDP. This is where you can go sign up. My daughter started when she was 13 doing it, and she taught herself, I mean, it's not a hard process. And so just sharing, and then they'd message me and they'd be like, I want more information. I would mention, I teach a class with my daughter. Oh, I want to hear about that class. Can I take the class? And, but that honestly, you will get so much feedback if you're serving well that you need to block your time. So time block and figure out what are three tasks that you need to do every day that, and then devote that time, an hour doing one, an hour doing the next, an hour doing the third, and just really guard that well.
Very smart.
Be intentional.
Oh, so true. Michael Hyatt says what gets scheduled gets done. And
yes,
for me, time to confess, I need to do an updated version of Private Label the Easy Way and Real Wholesale Sources. And those are two tasks that have constantly just get put on the back burner for me. So tomorrow morning, I have an appointment at 8 a.m. to write a little bit more of Private Label the Easy Way. So put it on your calendar. Things that are on my calendar get done. If they're on my to-do list, they don't necessarily get done. Right. But if they're on my calendar, they do get done. So for me, it works to put them on my calendar, which is like what you said with time blocking. So it's really, really good. Okay. And our last one here, which is probably many other things that we could do to be more efficient and to outsource and to find that time that you need to create that time, but repurpose content. So what do we mean by that? Well, a lot of you might have a book in your heart that you need to write. And so you think, well, that's going to be a stream of income and that's it. That's what I thought with my book, Private Label the Easy Way. I wrote the book and I thought, yeah, it's going to be great. I want to sell, partner up with some few people, sell a few thousand copies. That'll be great. Well, then I met somebody named Jenny Hunt who basically got me the idea of, you could turn this into a course. You can take any piece of content, and this is what we'll talk about this week. Any piece of content could be a book, could potentially be a course, a mastermind group, a live event, but it's not just one. It could be all of those.
Right.
To give you an idea, we took Private Label the Easy Way. It was a book. It became a course. It's a Facebook community with a social piece to it where we learn from that community, learn where we can meet their needs even better. We've done mastermind groups, accountability groups. We've done live events. We have a recurring revenue piece to that. We have a side service that is a kind of an end-to-end done-for-you type of service for Private Label. Then we've also learned from our audience, what else do you need? How else can we serve you? And we didn't really even say it that way. We just listened by seeing what questions they were asking. And you start to see a theme. And like people were getting stuck with product sourcing. So what can we do besides what we've already done to help them figure out how to find products to source? We came out with this whole other service or other product. Essentially, it was a over-the-shoulder type of Zoom call, like what we're doing right now, showing them a process. And that was super valuable to them because they could see exactly how we made decisions. And that was a whole other revenue stream that we did for a while. So your thing, whatever that thing is, could be multiple revenue streams. And Jenny, you said something else for the physical product sellers, repurposing your products.
Right. Well, even I was noticing there were some comments. I think it was Tim was saying when you showed the bolt, he said, I'd bundle that bolt with something.
With a nut.
Yeah. Bundle it with something that you already are selling maybe, but you can repurpose your content, your products. If you're a seller on Amazon and you have one product, well, what else are people buying with that product? And maybe all the things in your bundle can sell individually. Another thing we had talked about was you can repurpose your products by getting replenishable items that you are always, that's a system. So when you're doing replenishables, there are things that are always available to you that you can just keep sending in and feeding the beast, so that it's available for your customers to buy them. Find those, then you have a shopping list to outsource. So it's not just content, but I did want to back up a little bit on that thought because I think some of you might be like, I don't know what kind of content, like that sounds great. I would love to have an idea about something, and we'll talk about that this week. Okay. We will talk about it. We are so confident that if we sat down with you guys individually, and we'll try to do this as much as we can as a group, and just heard your story, that we could help you figure out what your thing is that you can build. And Ryan was using the private label example. I like to call that a spectrum of revenue, because they're all from a single idea. And then each spectrum is kind of its own stream. So, you know, if you take one thing that you know, one thing that you have overcome a hurdle that, something, a part of your story, you take that, I guarantee there's people who need to hear that. They need to hear your story. And out of that would come other opportunity, using that same main idea, that same main message. We're going to talk more about that and helping you figure out. In fact, I think tomorrow, we talk about monetizing your passion. We'll start tomorrow with talking about how to even figure out what that is. I mean, maybe you don't know, you know, can I really monetize? Like, I like going to the beach. Can I really monetize that? Like, I'm passionate about going to the beach. Well, let's, you know, maybe we can get creative about it. But the thing I've learned is, the part of what I wrote in my book, The Sweet Spot Revenue, is what I really wanted to do, what I thought my sweet spot was, where my dream was. If you ask me, I'm not really living my dream the way I thought I would. Okay. It's a different story than where I thought I would be 15, 16 years ago. I'm not, but in that, I know I'm in my sweet spot though. It just doesn't look like I thought it would look like. So, figuring out what you're passionate about and moving in that direction, your end goal might end up looking different than you think it will, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I mean, it never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would be, Facebook didn't even exist when I started, you know, maybe it did, but I wasn't on it. But, you know, I never would have thought that I would be able to serve so many people. And that was just not even on my radar. And so anyway, I think we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also want to say, why did we even bring this up? Tying it back to creating time. It's that you don't have to create a book and then do something else completely different, like recreate the wheel all over again. You essentially is taking that same information and putting it in a different way, in a different format, and then being able to then monetize that new thing. So the book is one stream, the course is another stream, but it's not that you had to recreate all that information. It's the same information that's in your book, but you may go deeper in the course. A mastermind group is the same information, but you're just giving that personal attention. So you're not having to do anything, not having to recreate a lot of stuff. It's so that's why it ties back to the creating time. And when Jenny said something about what your thing is, a lot of you might think, you know what, this has already been done. A book's already been written about that topic. So I can't do that. Yes, you can. I was talking to a guy he's 80 years old. He sells on Amazon, he and his wife. She's a lot younger than him, and met with him for coffee. They're from Phoenix, coming to here for Christmas to hang out with some family. I told him that you could create a course or a book, or I'm going to have him on as a guest on my radio show. How many courses out there, how many books out there are from Amazon sellers at his age? So we were talking about how there's so many people that when they reach his age, they think, there's no, I'm done. Or, I may have 20 years left or 10 years left or 5, whatever they think, but they basically just aren't doing anything else with their time, or they just think, I can't sell on Amazon. That's crazy. That's for the youngsters. And so he's proven that you can do it. And so just know that there's not a book from your perspective, not a one from your story. So even if it's the exact same type of information, because it's from you, it'll be different and it'll be valuable.
Right.
So who cares how many books there are about money or finances? You walk into a bookstore, there's a whole section about money. If you thought, man, I'm really good with money, I should write a book, you would get discouraged if you walk into a bookstore and see how many of them there are. Think, I can't compete with those. Well, yes, you can, because it's your story, your perspective. You'll say it a different way that it will enable somebody else to get it where they haven't got it from all the other ones. So just keep going. You know what you know what you need to do. Just do it anyway. And if you're not sure what that thing is, we're going to help you out with that too. So we're really excited. Penny, you just turned 80. That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's not over. I mean, there's no reason you guys can't do this. There's no excuse.
Right. And there's like, I mean, man, I think of, you have so much experience and wisdom to bring that
Absolutely.
I don't have, that so many people have, who and don't undervalue that at all. There's a lot of value there. So
for sure.
yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to dig in with you guys. I've been thrilled looking at the stories that you all have, and it's been really fun. So we're gonna have a great week.
So tomorrow we're talking about how to how to monetize your passion.
How to monetize your passion tomorrow at the same time, same bat channel, same everything. We'll be here and we'll be talking about, if you don't know what that is, and maybe, what your message, your idea, whatever it is, something you're interested in. If you don't know, or you have like 10 things you're not sure, like, how do I choose? Or you might think you have nothing. Join us tomorrow. We'll talk about how to figure that out and give some tips on that. So that's tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about getting started with the course, which might sound a little premature, but it's not, guys. We'll talk about why we want to talk about that. And then finally on Friday, we're going to dig into our exact blueprint that Ryan and I both use in our own businesses to grow our spectrum and our revenue streams. We're going to share that with you and show you how you can apply it to your passion and your idea to grow your stuff. And then we want to get somebody in the hot seat.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if I like the word hot seat, but don't be intimidated by that. We want somebody. How are we going to choose?
I guess we just need to should we create a post and have people comment, or?
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll figure out exactly. We'll figure out, because we want somebody who's interested in it. We don't want to just randomly pick somebody.
So this is essentially, guys, what this is going to be Jenny and I getting on a call like this, and we'll share it with the groups where we would hear your story and then give you ideas, brainstorm with you live ideas on how to take what you're passionate about and turn it into a business. So it'll be really good because there might be other people who have the same type of passion, or they're in the same niche, or just you'll get out. It's going to help the whole group, because it'll just be helpful to see how we do it, how we think through it. And also we'll get really good ideas from those watching. I'm sure Jenny and I don't have every good idea there are out there. So you guys can say, I think I have a great idea for Nick, whoever our person is, post it, and it'd be like a fun brainstorming session.
Yeah. But okay. So here's the prerequisite though. We really would like you to be on camera with us. So you need to be comfortable with that. And if you're scared to death, it's totally fine. I've been there. I totally get it. And this is a safe place. We're safe. We won't pick on you. We just want to help. And so there's great opportunity. So we'll put a post in the group. And if you're interested in being in that hot seat on Friday with us, then just respond to that. And of course you have to be available during the time we're going to do it.
Exactly.
That'd be bummer if you're not. So cool.
Fun, guys. Thank you so much. I love this group already. Let us know how we can help you. We're eager to dig into more this week. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. So just you guys can do this. We're going to help you do it. We're going to show you the way. All of you can take what you're passionate about and turn it into an income. And we're eager to help you do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay. I stopped it if we need to debrief. I need to probably go here in a couple minutes.
Okay. That's good.
You can come in. Did you take a nap?
What a great group.
Oh.
He was busy.
Jenny. Cool. Good stuff.
Okay. I'll let you go. But for tomorrow,